All right, folks, want to sound like a college football savant this week. We're diving deep into week 6, and trust me, it's a wild one. Upsets lurking around every corner, top 25 showdowns. This is the kind of week that can shake up the entire playoff picture.
You know, what's fascinating is how many of these games come down to one question. Can these underdog defenses step up and make a statement? We're talking some serious offensive firepower hitting the road this week, going up against teams with a whole lot to prove.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my interest. But before we get to the main course, let's at least acknowledge the Thursday night games, right? Little appetizer.
A little Sun Belt Conference action to get things started.
Exactly. We've got Texas State at Troy. Texas State, they're coming in favored by almost 2 touchdowns. But don't let that fool you. Both of these teams, they're desperate for a conference win. Fighting for their playoff lives, basically.
Yeah, those early conference games can be sneaky important. A loss here, and it's an uphill battle to even sniff that bowl eligibility.
Then we've got Sam Houston, riding a 4-game winning streak, taking on a UTEP team that, well, they're still searching for that first win.
Sam Houston's offense, though, they've been putting up some serious numbers. I mean, averaging over 45 points a game during this streak. It's impressive.
All right, so a taste of the Sun Belt to kick things off. But now, let's sink our teeth into the main course. Saturday's slate is packed. I'm talking potential upsets, heavyweight clashes. Get ready, because this is where things get really interesting. We got to start with an SEC showdown. Missouri at Texas A&M.
Classic offense versus defense matchup right here. Texas A&M with that suffocating defensive line going up against a Missouri offense that has been surprisingly potent this year.
Yeah, the Aggies are only favored by 2.5. Vegas definitely thinks this one could go down to the wire. So what's your take? What's the feeling on this one?
Missouri's quarterback, Brady Cook, he's the X factor. Kid's got ice in his veins. If he can make a few big throws against that A&M defense.
Missouri could steal one on the road.
Exactly. And a win in College Station, woof. Talk about sending shockwaves through the SEC.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, Ohio State. Heavy favorites at home against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Now, on paper, this one seems like a foregone conclusion, but
you gotta respect Iowa's defense. They've got this knack for making life miserable for even the most explosive offenses. They just have a way of doing it, you know?
Right, they always seem to have Ohio State's number. Even when the Buckeyes are rolling. How do they do it? What's their secret?
That zone defense. Man, they disguise coverages so well. Quarterbacks are constantly second-guessing themselves.
They always seem to be one step ahead.
And their linebacker, Jack Campbell, he's like having another coach on the field. Sniffs out plays before they even happen.
So you're saying maybe, just maybe, Iowa could keep this one closer than people think.
Don't be fooled by that point spread. Iowa will be ready to play. Believe that.
I love it when a game has upset alert written all over it. Speaking of which, Michigan on the road at Washington. Rematch of last year's thriller.
This one's more than just a rematch. It's a clash of styles. You've got Michigan with that bruising ground game trying to wear down a Washington defense that loves to fly to the ball. It's going to be physical.
I mean, Michigan barely squeaked out a win last year, right? And they're walking into a hornet's nest in Seattle.
Oh, yeah. That crowd will be rocking. And Washington, they haven't forgotten last year. They want revenge. Plus, their quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., he's another year older, another year wiser. Could be dangerous.
This one is appointment viewing for sure. Man, we are just getting started. This Saturday is absolutely loaded. I mean, you've got Alabama on the road at Ole Miss, a resurgent Tennessee team. They're facing a tricky road test against South Carolina.
And don't sleep on Clemson. They've got that date with Wake Forest. And yeah, they're favored, but Wake Forest always seems to give them a fight.
I think they have their number or something, you know?
Yeah.
So with all these potential upsets, all these storylines, what are the real key takeaways here? What should our listeners be paying attention to that maybe isn't making headlines?
You know, let's circle back to that Ohio State-Iowa game for a second. We touched on it, but this is a game that could have huge playoff implications down the road.
All right, break it down for us. What are you seeing?
If Iowa's defense, and they're more than capable, if they can do what they've done to other top-ranked offenses, think back to Penn State a few years ago, if they can slow down Ohio State's high-flying attack,
it throws the Big Ten race wide open.
Exactly. A loss for Ohio State, even this early, it has a ripple effect. And then there's Wake Forest. 2 of their losses this year. Nail-biters. Decided by a combined 4 points. If they can figure out how to close out those tight games,
they could absolutely upset Clemson.
No doubt. Clemson, they might be overlooking Wake Forest a little bit. And you can't forget about the coaching matchup. Dave Clawson, Wake Forest, he's known for those crazy offensive schemes. always has a few tricks up his sleeve.
Dabo Swinney, though, at Clemson,
Yeah.
he's as good as they come.
He is, but even the best coaches, they can be outcoached, right? It's those hidden narratives, those subtle edges that can make all the difference.
And speaking of subtle edges, for those of us who like to, shall we say, enhance the viewing experience a little bit, any insights from the world of wagering this week?
Well, let's just say the odds makers seem to agree with our assessment of the slate. There's value to be found, especially if you're looking at those potential upsets we've been talking about.
All right, you're killing me. What are the models saying? Give us the goods.
Remember, folks, this isn't financial advice. Just some friendly observations,
Of course, of course.
The models are showing some interesting possibilities. Missouri, with that explosive offense, they might be undervalued as underdogs against Texas A&M. And Iowa, even with that underdog status, they've got a funny way of defying the odds against Ohio State.
So don't sleep on the Hawkeyes. I hear you.
And for those who really like to dig deep, watch those line movements. Those little shifts, they can tell you a lot. They can show you where the smart money's going. For instance, that Arkansas-Auburn game. The line's been moving towards Arkansas pretty steadily.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, people are starting to like Arkansas as an underdog pick in that one. It's a game within the game, trying to decipher those line movements.
You said it.
It's all about finding those hidden edges, those overlooked factors that can give you a little advantage. But at the end of the day, hey, it's college football, right?
Anything can happen. No doubt about it. You always say it. The beauty of college football is you never know what's going to happen.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And this week, man, the unpredictability is off the charts. I mean, potential upsets left and right, top 10 teams on the road against some hungry opponents, makes you wonder.
Ooh, I like where you're going with this.
Could this be the week? And I know it sounds crazy, but could this be the week the top 10 gets absolutely wiped out?
All right, now you're speaking my language. I mean, think about it. We've got 7, count them, 7 ranked teams on the road this week.
If even half of those underdogs pull off the upset,
We're talking about a seismic shift in the playoff picture.
it'd be absolute chaos in the rankings come Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Imagine if teams like Iowa, Wake Forest, Washington, if they all win.
We're talking about a completely different landscape.
And that's not outside the realm of possibility, right? That's what makes this sport so great. The drama, the unpredictability, it all unfolds right in front of us.
Absolutely. All right, so you've given our listeners plenty to chew on, plenty to watch for. Any last words of wisdom as we head into this potentially historic weekend?
Just this. Embrace the chaos. Enjoy the ride. And whatever you do, don't be afraid to make those bold predictions, because this is the kind of week where the craziest outcome might just be the one that happens.
I love it. Week 6, you've got a lot to live up to.
All right, folks, there you have it. Upsets are brewing, the stakes are high, and the only thing we know for sure is anything can happen. Get those watch lists ready, stock up on snacks, and buckle up for a wild ride. And hey, while you're watching, let us know what you think. Hit us up on social media, share your predictions, your hot takes, your wildest dreams for this weekend's games. We'll be right there with you, taking it all in. Until next time, happy watching.